What's the most amazing thing about the universe? The only way we can see the universe is from inside it. We will likely never possess any way of viewing our universe from outside its physicality. That in the grand scheme of things we are all immortal, our organic cells will die, our consciousness will cease, and we will no longer be able to directly observe existence. But the atoms that make up our bodies will simply be new compounds, and if energy is neither created nor destroyed, if our atoms continue to be, we will eventually make up the building blocks of new compounds. Pieces of us will watch the sun swallow up Mercury and Venus. Pieces of us will watch supernovae and black holes and all sorts of cosmic phenomena. Perhaps even one day our atoms will return to a nebula, and the cycle will begin again. A new star is formed, new planets begin to orbit it, liquid water forms on a small green rock orbiting this star, and an intelligent species evolves to travel to marvel at the wonders of our universe. One of my favorite shows is Battlestar Galactica, and one of the quotes that stuck out to me was, "All of this has happened before, and it will happen again." I tend to think there's some truth to that. I've had a couple friends and my grandfather die this year, and as an agnostic I am processing death a bit differently from the rest of my family. I don't think of death as the ending, as a finality. I don't think there is an afterlife as most religions conceive of it. I think that in a weird way, we all live forever. Edit. Holy shit, Silver. And people actually like this? Lol, wow, I'm just shocked. A single human brain has as many neurons as there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy, around 100 billion. Source, am neuroscientist filled with useless facts about the brain. This is one I thought about recently. I believe that Carl Sagan said that we, sentient entities, are a way for the cosmos to know itself. With this in mind, when we think about the end of our universe, whether it be through a big shrink, big cooling, or what have you, we get apprehensive. We probably will never see this end, many of us will be dead, yet, we still get a cold fear in our hearts. We are also a way for the cosmos to fear its demise. Deleted. If you were on a planet 65 million light years away from Earth and had a really good telescope, you could see the dinosaurs. Whales are the biggest known creatures in the known universe. They're the biggest animal, but the biggest organism is an aspen tree colony that has expanded over miles. And the second largest animal is Yo Mama. That every single random event since the dawn of creation, the birth and death of stars, planets and galaxies, the very genesis of life has led to you being here right now to ask this question, and I, making this useless comment. Thanks universe. One of my favorite is about the number of unique orders for cards in a standard 52 card deck. I've seen a really good explanation of how big 52 actually is. Set a timer to count down 52 seconds. That's 8.0658 by 10 to the power of 67 seconds. Stand on the equator, and take a step forward every billion years. When you've circled the Earth once, take a drop of water from the Pacific Ocean, and keep going. When the Pacific Ocean is empty, lay a sheet of paper down, refill the ocean and carry on. When your stack of paper reaches the sun, take a look at the timer. The three leftmost digits won't have changed. 8.063 by 10 to the power of 67 seconds left to go. You have to repeat the whole process 1,000 times to get 1/3 of the way through that time. 5.385 by 10 to the power of 67 seconds left to go. So to kill that time you try something else. Shuffle a deck of cards, deal yourself 5 cards every billion years. Each time you get a royal flush, buy a lottery ticket. Each time that ticket wins the jackpot, throw a grain of sand in the Grand Canyon. When the Grand Canyon's full, take 1 ounce of rock off Mount Everest, empty the canyon and carry on. When Everest has been leveled, check the timer. There's barely any change. 5.364 by 10 to the power of 67 seconds left. You'd have to repeat this process 256 times to have run out the timer. If I'm not mistaken, I read that every time you shuffle a deck of cards, chances are nobody ever shuffled it in that order. Probably no 2 random shuffles by anyone were ever the same. Imagine being transported to a parallel universe that was almost identical to our own. Somewhere out in the vastness of that universe, there is a tiny planet. This much is true in both universes. On this planet, there is a beach, and on that beach, there is a small stone. Once again, both universes are alike in this regard. Beneath that stone, however, there are several million grains of sand, and while they are in precisely the same location in each universe, one of them, a tiny speck of particularly clear quartz, hewn from a larger hole millions of years before, has a single atom that is positioned a fraction of a femtometer differently than its twin in the mirror dimension. You may think that such an insignificant difference would label these two universes as being functionally identical, and you would be right. In fact, They are so similar that the multiverse has long since combined them into one reality. That single atom in that tiny speck of sand on that lonesome beach on a distant planet merely occupies two spaces at once, seeming to an outside observer to vibrate back and forth at a predictable rate. That every atom in existence seems to do the same is probably a coincidence. Too long didn't read, everything is buzzing. That it exists, and it came from somewhere, or nowhere. I really hate thinking about this kind of stuff. It kinda feels like if I think too hard about why matter exists or where it came from and other similar questions, that everything might suddenly come undone or cease to exist. It must be true that either 1. It didn't exist, then it did, or 2. It has always existed. What even is time? The space in which space can change, the space of space. Hydrogen plus time equals people and planets. Hydrogen, given enough time, will send unsolicited dick pics. That somehow all the particles accumulated in a specific way and in specific quantities to give you conscious thought. There are 10 million particles in the universe that we can observe. Your mama took the ugly ones and put them into one nerd. Flashback to 2012. That whatever our problems are, big or small, it won't matter in 1 million years, worst being a nuclear war or something. I got 99 problems and the universe doesn't give a fuck about any of them. How young it is. People look at the universe being 13.7 billion years old and say that is ancient. That is nothing. Stars will continue to form for another 100 trillion years. Even after that, stellar remnants will exist for quadrillions of years. Black holes will still produce energy that can be used by intelligent civilizations for 10 to the power of 100 years. Keep in mind, if biological life doesn't destroy itself, we will just keep getting more and more knowledge. It's probably a safe bet that within 500 years, which is nothing on universal time scales, we will be an interstellar species that has long ago transcended biology. There is no telling what our descendants will do for the remaining life of the universe. The 4 to 5 billion years of biological evolution of life on Earth will be looked at as an embryonic stage for endless quintillions of years of real life to begin post-biology. They will view the universe as their oyster, a place of infinite possibilities, while we are still just spending our days trying not to die and trying to avoid being punished by our brains with pain. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. We have new videos every day. Here's a meme for you to enjoy. It gave us magnets. Magnets are fucking magic. Aligning particles with each other makes them fly towards themselves. Miss me with that hobknocking physics bollocks. Tilde phrase hobknocking bollocks. Inanimate / non-living objects eventually form to make sentient, living beings that question their own existence and want to find facts about the process between the beginning of the universe to now, and even want to anticipate the future, all from some hydrogen shits floating around and doing stuff. It's indifferent to everything. Yes, it's incredible to think that for all of our morals, our ideas of good karma and bad karma, what goes around comes around, etc., these ideas that feel so ingrained to the world we live in are all mere thoughts in our head, and that the world, the universe, is not just, and seems nothing as good or bad, guilty or innocent, but simply as is, something I simply cannot comprehend with words. I don't care. The universe. There is a theory which states that if ever anyone discovers exactly what the universe is for and why it is here, it will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable. There is another theory which states that this has already happened. Douglas Adams. In the beginning the universe was created. This had made many people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad move. We apologize for the inconvenience, God. That we just don't understand it. It could be flat, it could be irregular, there could be another one. It's growing at an exponential speed. It's invisible contents. We try to learn more about it using our earthly knowledge, but there is certainly more to it. It's like trying to wrap your head around eternity. That it doesn't exist to be observed. In fact, under different circumstances all of its trillions of stars and planets and oceans and moons and mountains could exist for billions of years without ever being observed by anyone. Edit. Typo. Look again at that dot. That's here, that's home, that's us. On it everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Carl Sagan. If you nut in space you move backwards. The infiniteness when you look out there is crazy, knowing what you can see is on a speckle. Two possibilities exist, either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. Arthur C. Clarke. Matter, when subjected to enough energy and time, becomes sentient and ponders its own existence, like a really fucked up diamond. That tiny squeaking sound you get when you rub two pickles together. That it created self-aware entities that think about it. Given enough time, hydrogen gives itself a name. Given enough time, hydrogen atoms will start to masturbate. Plenty of things. The way we perceive the universe, in its physical form, we think it's all around us, on a cosmic scale. But more than that, it inside all of us. We're made of each and every atom that the universe is comprised of. It sounds super philosophical and like something a stoned person would say, but the distinctness within our universe is what sets everyone apart. The way each of us, made up of the same elements of this universe, yet managed to be so different. Perhaps you could say the greatest and rather miraculous thing of all is in fact, life. No matter how insignificant and bleak life may look up close, when climbing a mountain and admiring the view, or finding a spot away from the city and looking at the stars, we will forever be hit by its beauty. The big picture is always there to be admired, to make us forget how small and pointless daily details are. Jesus Christ, this thread is giving me an existential crisis. The fact that people have been around for thousands of years and I just happen to exist at the same time as 699N. The universe is expanding so fast that there are galaxies we would never be able to view. That if you put it into a tube, you'd end up with a very long, tube, probably extending twice the size of the universe. You wouldn't want to put the universe into a tube. We are all just manifestations of the universe experiencing itself. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving, and revolving at 900 miles an hour. It's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned. The sun that is the source of all our power. Now the sun, and you and me, and all the stars that we can see, are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day, in the outer spiral arm, at 40,000 miles an hour, of a galaxy we call the Milky Way. Our galaxy itself contains 100 billion stars. It's 100,000 light-years side to side. It bulges in the middle 16,000 light-years thick, but out by us it's just 3,000 light-years wide. We're 30,000 light-years from galactic central point. We go round every 200 million years, and our galaxy itself is one of millions of billions. In this amazing and expanding universe, our universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding, in all of the directions it can whiz, as fast as it can go, at the speed of light, 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember, when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth, and pray that there's intelligent life somewhere out in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth. We are here, if by the means of a creator or by mere chance. Our solar system lives in one of the most isolated territories in our galaxy, which is in one of the most empty parts of the universe. We are essentially nothing, in terms of the universe. If in fact the universe is truly infinite, then not even our own galaxy's supercluster makes up even the smallest fraction possible of 0.00001%, infinite number of zeros, which in turn is pretty much zero. The known universe, that we have mapped on a chart, is the same fraction as zero. Infinite is a concept that many of us cannot understand, or that we ever will. You will never reach even the smallest fraction of the number infinite. The fact that we exist, are aware of it, and many of us don't even give it a second thought is what really seems incredible to me. Thank you so much for the silver. I feel deeply honored that someone felt this way about my comment. Lol.